welcome to this episode of Writers Infusion. I'm your host, Susan. I'm here with the usual gang, Ed, who's actually not there. He's behind the camera for just a minute. Jen, Julie, and Dave. We're here with Catherine Bonica, and we're at the Portland Public Library in Maine, filming live today with our audience, so this is a fun day for us. And Catherine wrote a young adult short story called Turkeys Take Flight, and we're going to have her read the first few pages and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I know it's coming when I spot the gang of turkeys in the field across the road. Birds always show up first. Doors slam inside the house, rattling windows and bisecting angry words. The dick is packing and Mom's crying, so I keep my brothers outside. They don't need to hear that crap. Lexi, will you draw me a truck? Ben says, holding out a green stub of chalk. I take the chalk and kneel on warm tar, stroking out lines as the light changes. No clouds block the sun, but my world darkens by the minute. Negative energy does that to me, and the dick is a garbage truck of negative energy. Sure, he's a good-looking lawyer, but his personality sucks. In the field, the turkeys yelp and flap into a tighter circle. Ben rubs my hair as I draw, something he likes to do since I dyed it indigo and shaved it into a mohawk. Mom isn't crazy about it, but the best part is Dick totally hates it. "What the hell have you done, Alexis?" he said when I came down to dinner that night. "You look like a freak. How do you expect to amount to anything but a grease monkey?" Mom gasped, and Ben and Brody just about wet themselves laughing. Mom's husband's real name is Douglas, which, in a sick twist of fate, happens to be the name of my absolute favorite actor, the gorgeous and talented Douglas Spain. I can't call the step Douglas, so I gave him a nickname. Dick fits him much better. And I know I'm different from like 90% of the girls in my high school. I'm tall and bony with no boobs. My two best friends are guys. I wear black tees and holy jeans and Converses. I work on engines and I'm the smartest one in my AP anatomy class. My grandmother used to tell me to be myself, and good people would see how great I am. God, I really loved her, but I don't think the Dick can see the good in anyone who isn't like him, slayer of this lowly malpractice accuser, slicer of a 9-iron in an Armani suit. "Is Dad leaving again?" Brody says, sitting next to me. His shorts reveal legs covered with scabs and bug bites from playing in the tree fort I made, a place the twins escape to whenever I'm not around to be Dick's verbal punching bag. He's not our dad. I glance up at the house. The windows reflect black and gray images like a photo negative. A dad doesn't put down his wife because she wants to paint for a living instead of selling insurance. A dad doesn't swear at 5-year-olds or run over toys on purpose because he's late for golf. A dad doesn't call his stepdaughter I catch myself, a bad name because she plays the guitar and looks different. A real dad loves his wife and kids no matter what. Ben nods, but Brody's eyebrows go up. Where did our dad go? Afghanistan, I say, wiping green dust on my Metallica shirt. When's he coming home? The word sticks in my throat, a painful nugget. Never. I don't remember him, Ben says. He left when you guys were babies, I say. He's a hero. He loved us. Remember that. Brody frowns. The murky light colors his sun-drenched face ash. In the field, turkeys creep toward the road. A few break from the stand of pines lining the field, kee-keying in panicked staccato, charging the gang. Mother hens pluck at their errant young. It took me a while to figure things out. The day Grandma died, I didn't recognize the signs. The birds, the changing light, the smells. When Dad died in an ambush half a world away, a huge flock of mourning doves gathered in the tree outside my English class. The room went red, and a slick coppery stench flooded my lungs. I smelled his aftershave, dropped to my knees, and puked. The nurse sent me home. The flu, she said, but I was so freaked I couldn't talk. Couldn't tell Mom what I knew had happened. She found out the next day. 2 National Guardsmen caught her when her legs buckled on her doorstep. I thought the signs were a kind of psychic blood bond, something family members share, like how twins get premonitions if one of them is hurt or in trouble. Some claim to have telepathy, which is what I thought I had. I've seen it happen between Ben and Brody, and they have no idea how cool it is. Then, last spring on the drive to work, I passed a flock of blue jays perched along the fence at the horse farm. The sun was high, but the whole sky turned pink as sunset, and the smell of chlorine made me gag so hard I nearly drove off the road. I was wrist deep in a carburetor when I got the text. My good friend Julie Frost was dead. Freak accident during diving practice. No blood relations there. I look at my drawing, a logging truck filled with huge tree trunks defying gravity, like the trucks that zoom by our house every day. Voices pierce the air. I'm sick of it, Holly, the dick says. I would have made partner if it wasn't for you and those kids suffocating me. Mom follows him into the garage pleading, and he barks his stupid, self-absorbed motto. I'm looking out for number one. I hate him. The pungent stink of rotting apples assaults my nose. When the garage door rolls up, I hurry the boys through the mudroom door. Mom stands there crying. Take them to the den and stay there, I say. Don't let them out of your sight. Her eyes go like saucers. She kicks the door to the garage closed and obeys. I return to the driveway and watch the dick back his Mercedes out and turn it around. The unrelenting stench reminds me of Candy Sparks. She bullied me for over a year, crapping on me all over Facebook. One day, I left my guitar in anatomy class. When I went back for it, it was smeared with frog guts from the dissection we'd just done. I was heading to work, mad as hell, after cleaning entrails off my Jim Dandy flat top, the formaldehyde leaving pitted scars in the black finish, and I pulled into Flo's to grab a soda. The roof of the place was crowded with crows, which should have been a hint, but I was eager for the smell of pizza instead of pickling chemicals. Candy sat at a table with her friends cawing at me. I paid for my drink. As I paid for my drink, I heard her say the anchovies on her pizza smelled a lot better than frog guts. Choke on it, I muttered, and ran for my car, shaking. The sky turned the color of mud, and the reek of fish descended. I sat gripping my steering wheel, and soon the siren call of emergency vehicles echoed down the corridor of Route 9. An ambulance screamed around the bend and into the parking lot. Holy crap, did I do that? I wondered, not waiting around to find out what happened. I sped out of there and cranked some seether to break free of the negative energy. Later, it was all over Facebook how Candy choked on pizza and passed out in a puddle of piss. People tried CPR, but the EMTs had to stick a tube down her trachea to save her. She came back to school last week, but I doubt she'll bully anyone now. The EMT accidentally damaged her voice box. She talks like a bullfrog with laryngitis. I looked it up, what a flock of crows is called, a murder. The dick's window is down. He's talking at me, but I haven't heard a word. Turkeys take flight, struggling to lift off, giant wings meeting the air. Their cackles echo across the field. Dick's face turns black. I've never seen this sign. I hesitate, then open my mouth to warn him, but he says, Alexis, forget the stupid rock star wannabe shit. You have a better chance of sprouting a penis than getting a scholarship for music school. You'll end up fixing cars for a living and won't catch a husband with that butch look. Then where will you be? Without waiting for me to respond, he rockets the Mercedes out of the drive and across the center line, not bothering to look both ways, nearly getting T-boned by an approaching SUV blaring a horn. Incredible. He dodged it. What kind of divine justice is this? The turkeys cackled to a landing on the south shoulder of the road, 30 yards away, flitting and pecking at the ground. Douglas, I say. As if responding to my voice, the gang darts across the road in front of the accelerating Mercedes, putting and yelping.
So I have to say, I love this. This
I
is,
did too.
I think
I love this story.
this is so well written. You did such a great job with her voice. Right from, I mean, the first paragraph, you were in the setting, you knew her voice already. I barely had anything to say, except I just loved it.
Yeah.
I think I marked up 3 tiny things, and I had to mark up something.
I read this, and I got to the end, and then I looked and saw that this is a short story, and I was like, no!
I know, I just told her to make a novel. I know. Don't it?
How many more
We get-
pages is it, by the way?
It's 2 paragraphs.
Oh, you know what?
You didn't send us the whole
I
thing.
didn't know it was
You
just
left
two.
us
Should we just
You.
should we ever read the end
Would you,
right
yes,
now?
please?
Just read the end.
Yes,
Read the end
please.
right now.
That's
Alright,
on
sorry.
screen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Dick veers into the opposite lane as a logging truck barrels down. Brakes screech. I hold my breath, sure my heart has quit. The truck jerks toward the ditch and jackknives, huge tires hopping across the blacktop, acrid rubber smoke billowing. The half acre of forest it carries begins a slow-motion tip and, For a split second, I believe the truck will right itself. Then the trailer hurls its contents across the road. Turkeys shriek, huge logs trundle out and over Dick's car in a rumble of bass and thunder and crunching steel. Black spots prick the corners of my vision and I remember to breathe. The driver of the logging truck climbs out through his passenger door. From the ruins, a Mercedes hubcap rolls around in the street in tighter and tighter circles, winding down until it stops. I squint against sudden sunlight and color, smiling. I'll be looking out for number one.
You know what you read there, if you go to the previous page, where was that it? Oh yeah, this hot, huge logs trundle out and over Dick's car and a rumble of bass and thunder and crunching steel. That's so good. It's just, and if you send me the whole story, I want to post the whole story. I didn't realize it was just 2 more
I didn't realize that, yeah.
I love
amazing.
his description, slayer of the lowly malpractice accuser, slicer of the 9/9.
I
love
that
too, yes.
And the whole supernatural element with the birds, every time giving her a warning. I love supernatural anyway, but it's just so good that you can't just write this with young adult. I mean, you have such a talent that I don't know if
We
you
need
like to
more.
write whole novels, but I think you need to.
I do write novels. I'm working on a second one, but
Oh.
it's usually women's fiction or
But,
mystery.
but this could
not
so easily be a novel with more bird scenes,
No,
honestly. I'm thinking
yeah.
of Alfred Hitchcock, he didn't have just one set of birds, or refer to that, he had actual scenes.
Or it could be a
Really, tell
totally
us
different
more.
story.
Oh,
Do you like writing young
Hitchcock.
adult?
I like writing young adult short stories because I
Mhm.
worked in a high school for a long time, so that's my inspiration.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have the wherewithal to do an entire novel.
Well, what about a collection of short stories for young adult? Would you
There
do
you
that?
go.
Yeah.
Or you absolutely should. So
you.
good, I don't even know what else to say.
I love that Candy ends up with a voice like a bullfrog. That's
Justice.
brilliant, I love that.
Justice.
Justice,
Thank you.
Greek tragedy.
My question was, because, we talk so much about staying in voice, staying in a point of view, she's 17, 18. Some of the lines in there are a little bit more mature.
Not a problem.
But
She's a mature
No,
girl.
she's a
though.
mature, yeah.
And she's been through so much, so she would have a maturity that I think.
Like
She
that-
tells mom to take the boys and get to safety, right? She
Right.
seems to be a.
Right.
Can I disagree?
Wait, he always does.
Wait, I want to say one more thing. Something that I happen to notice, I think most of us do anyway, that when the voice isn't right, or it's like you just asked that question, we pretty much, I think we catch it. It's just something, I catch it a lot, you're using the wrong voice. You don't say man, you say guy if you're a 12-year-old, just things like that. So I don't think so, no, I think that's awesome. You can listen to him now.
Carry on. Hey.
You can cut it. You have the potential here for a super novel. You've got the ingredients, but I think your development of the story is backwards. You've got most of the heavy equipment you've got in the story is in the form of a flashback, and we have to live through the flashback to understand the present. Why don't you start back then, when she begins to rebel, and she's taking flack from people, and develop it like Carrie. I don't know if you knew.
Yeah,
you've seen
right.
it. That kind of, you resent the people that are attacking Carrie. Well, she's being attacked by various people, but we're being told about it through her. If we were to live it with her from the beginning, have her a normal kid, she's taking some crap, she decides to do stuff with her hair, people started then attacking her, and you can understand her need to rebel and get revenge. I don't care how the revenge comes. Revenge is a super motivating factor. And I love reading read the Count of Monte Cristo. 400 pages of revenge. It's just dynamic. So if you want to really get people going, start at the beginning and allow us to see her in contrast. She was normal. Things caused her to become this way, whatever her powers are, which is super, I don't care what they are. And then you understand the ending, because I think the ending, Dad is going to get crushed or killed or something. You know what's going to happen. There's no aha moment in the story.
But there's
And that's the time
She
she
says
says
a yes more.
She never said Douglas, but till that, at that point, yes.
So now I agree with that as long as you want to make this into a novel.
A novel.
Then I would
Yeah.
definitely agree with
Right.
this
If it's a
telling in
novel.
here that you can change it to scene by scene, so it
Right.
just depends on what you want to do with it.
The thing
I
is,
like-
she is such, we get such a sense of her, and this is what I love about this story. We get such a sense of her without you telling us, okay? You just display, this is what she's doing, this is what she's saying. You're not telling us she's a certain way, we're just getting it. And that's so wonderful to
I think
read.
that comes through the first person.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you're definitely showing
A
another
lot of young
side.
adult is first person, anyway.
Yeah.
I agree with Jen, Slayer of Lowly Malpractice Accuser and Slicer of a Night Iron in an automatic suit. I also liked on the next page, a few of the birds, or turkeys, a few break from the stand of pines lining the field, kiki and panic staccato. It's really, really powerful.
I love how you put the
Contrasting.
turkeys in. I love how you just pep, like the turkeys aren't overwhelming. Just
Yes,
another little thing about the
right,
turkey.
yes,
And the
another
turkeys are
bird.
just kind of closing in. And they're getting a little bit closer, but it's
Yes.
not overwhelming. It's just, oh.
They're miffed about late November, I'll tell you.
You know,
On page
I thought the
two.
turkeys were going to be his downfall, because a turkey hit my car once and just blew the windshield away. It was unbelievable what happened.
Wow.
You could- I mean, it was a total accident.
Was
Did
it
he have a
edible
val-
afterwards?
What's that?
Was it edible afterwards?
Never found it.
Did he have a valid driver's license? He just sped off.
So I thought the turkeys were going to be the instrument of the dibs.
I like that it was
Yes.
laws, I thought that was good.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if I could contrast my praise with just one criticism, pages 1 to 2, you mentioned Douglas and the crush on the movie star, so I gave him a nickname, and then you say, and I know I'm different from like 90%. I thought you were going to go into girls think he's handsome, he's adorable, but you go into describing her, which is fine. I would have a segue, I would separate to another paragraph, and I would have a
Yeah.
segue because it's a separate idea, and you really want us to focus on his being horrible and her wonderfulness.
Yeah, I put in a few paragraph marks here, because I think you can split some of these things up for like dramatic effect. Yeah.
Like I hate him.
Yeah,
Yes.
Definitely.
I love to, remember, you can all keep this in mind when you're kids, I take the chalk and kneel on a warm tar. There's so much to that when you're kneeling on a warm tar, isn't there? It just brings
Sensory,
back a lot.
yes,
It's
yes.
so sensory.
Yes. And the love she has for the boys.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. It makes her a good person.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say I got just a little confused, I'm not totally confused, with the whole scene with Candy when she's going in for the soda. It seems to happen very quick. She says choke on it, and then she's in the car shaking, and then it seems like 2 seconds later the ambulance is there. I might just elaborate, I would maybe have her see Candy choking, like she never actually
Okay.
sees it.
Oh, right.
You know, and I'm not saying you have to add volumes there, but it just seems like, you know, I say choke on it, I sit in my car, and the ambulance screams around the corner, and it happened very quickly.
I agree.
So, you know, was she sitting in her car for 15 minutes?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? She
Yeah.
would have had to have been sitting there in the parking lot for a very long time for somebody to have her choke, to have somebody try to help her, to have someone call 911, to have the ambulances actually get there. So there's
Right.
just a timing thing there.
Yep.
And then actually have her see Candy, maybe turning blue or whatever, you know, and then say, holy crap, did I do that?
I think
That
we'll
was
all be
the-
really disappointed if you don't turn this into a novel.
Yes.
How many pages do you need? 90,000, 80,000?
No, but there are lots of magazines for young adults, like Cicada, where I think you still own the rights to it, so you can still, you know, do it as a short story, and also add on to it later if you want to.
The other reason I want to see this as a novel is because I think her powers are ambiguous. It's not clear to me if she is seeing these things happen or making them happen. I
It's
think-
not clear to her either.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
right until the end.
Yeah.
That's-
Now, as everybody in the group knows, I love superpowers.
I do too.
They sat through 2 novels of mine about people with superpowers. One was a comedy, but one was also about a kid who starts realizing that he has superpowers, and what is that like? And what is it like in their life? How does it affect their life? Are there others who are like this, or who have similar things? And it's like, in a novel, you could explore
Right.
all of that kind of stuff.
Well, that's true, the twins have her genes, do they share this ability?
She
Yeah.
alludes to it a little bit with the the twin telepathy.
Yes.
Lots
Yeah.
lots of
Speaking
possibilities.
of, I don't think that twins would have premonitions if something, I know twins sense something, they don't have
Mhm.
telepathy, but a premonition is ahead of time, and I think they know afterward.
Right.
I was very connected to my younger brother, we're not twins, we're 2 years apart, and David, but I felt his pain, I knew when something was wrong with him, it was just a,
In the moment, not premonition.
yes,
Right.
at the time.
Yeah.
And I love the first line. I think the first line's fabulous. I know it's coming when I spot the gang of turkeys in the field across the
Oh, it's a
road.
great story.
It's just, I can't really find anything wrong with it, I'm sorry. Just the tiny thing in the parking lot.
Same here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's nice that you came to, so that we could read it.
Yeah,
It's a
good,
good time.
good.
So,
I didn't want to, I was really nervous about submitting something that was.
you don't need to be.
Oh, well, don't be.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, Fred?
I don't, that's really helpful. Like I said, I've run this through several different writing groups and passed it by different people, and I've had, different opinions expressed about the whole section with candy, and, so I just kind of wanted to see it. I've worked it, just to see if it was, feeling whole and reading right and the flow was right.
So
Not
just for
confusing.
all the writers out there, so it's a 6-page short story, right?
Yeah.
Very short, but
Yeah.
you pack a lot in there. How long did that take you?
To write.
From idea to this?
To find this copy.
I've gone, and come back to it over years. I think I
Yes.
wrote this probably 5-6 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh, wow.
just something I come
Yeah,
back
just
to
a-
when I'm
Yeah.
sick of working on the novel or sick of editing or whatever, so, yeah.
Yeah, you have to do something with this.
Yes.
You should definitely submit it somewhere.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
there are a lot of magazines out there that do take in that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks
I'll
again
take
for
you, I'll
coming
definitely
today.
take you.
Start with the beginning, start with the beginning. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but start. You've got a dynamic character who goes through changes. We're seeing the end of the change. I'd love to see a
I
transition.
would too.
That's a good point.
But as a short story, so I'm going to disagree with Dave, because Dave always disagrees with me. But if it's a novel, then I would agree. As the short story, I think it's perfect. The way you've gone, I think and everyone knows I hate backstory, right? I hate backstory. But the way you did it, I thought was brilliant and very well done. And the backstories were compelling, and they needed to be, you needed to tell them at that point. You had them in the right spot. But I agree with Dave, as a novel, I would definitely want to see those as scenes. When you have, if you have 200 pages as opposed to 6 pages, I would definitely want to see the scene where Candy, did whatever she did, or more about when they got the news about the dad.
Oh, yes, there's a scene.
So if it's a much longer piece, then I would ask for
And
it.
Mom and Douglas's relationship.
Yeah, how did he come into the
How-
picture?
Does she
Yeah.
cower, does she stand up to him?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone else for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. So keep writing.